Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back in our Fortnite video. And in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys some tips and tricks on how to aim better here in Fortnite. And if you guys feel like you are ever struggling on aim, this is the video. I'm going to be talking about a few different ways that you guys can improve your aim very easily. So definitely stay to the end of the video. And before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. If you guys want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, all you guys have to do is to drop a like on the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel and also subscribe to my second channel. The link for that will be in the description or the pinned comment. Turn on my post notifications and as well comment down below your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And as well, if you guys would like to support me in the item shop, all you guys have to do is go over to the item shop, go down to support a creator, type in my code is Young Humor, and you guys will have me added and supported as a creator. I really do appreciate all you guys who do add me. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I want to be talking to you guys on how to improve your aim here in Fortnite. And there's going to be a lot of different ways to improve your aim. There's so many different things you can do. Anything from different tips. You have a bunch of maps that you can do in our aiming tutorials, aiming things like that. In creative, you can use to practice. And I usually don't recommend those too much because it is a lot different when it comes to aiming against players in actual games versus shooting at a bot that you know has like a set pattern of movement. And it's not bad if you're really new to the game and you're practicing maybe some type of build and shot or edit and shot, then something like that could work. Because I remember when I started just messing around a keyboard and mouse, that really did help me out a little bit. But I feel like for those of you guys who are already pretty good at the game, and you don't have to be pretty good, I mean, if you're pretty decent at the game and already have fairly good aim, you don't have to have the best aim, but if you have fairly good aim, I feel like something like the those maps, those aiming tutorials, I feel like they don't really help that much because it's just super predictable. You know exactly where the other player, or as the bot, is going to be, and it's just not that practical when it comes to actual games. You have someone moving around, jumping, editing, doing all of the above. But for starting out, it could be a very good way to start. But for those guys who already have a pretty good understanding of the game, it's just not going to be something that's going to improve your game that much, and so I wouldn't personally recommend it. But one thing that I do notice that I think can help you guys out a lot when it comes to gunfights, and this is a mistake that I see countless times and countless players make game after game, whether that be my teammates, myself, and or even just the people that I'm going against, I can really just tell. And that simple mistake is just going into gunfights and then not being calm. So basically making a panic shot, panic decision, and that's going to be costing you fights. And this is probably one of the #1 ways people choke their shots. It's not because they can't hit the shot or they're not able to. It's mainly because they panic. Maybe they go for a flick shot, they over flick, or maybe they go for a shot they normally wouldn't do because they panic. Different things like that I see happen countless time after time again. And I feel like this is a huge mistake that I see everyone make. And even myself, I do make this from time to time. It's usually not that much because I am pretty used to the game and I've played so many games, been into so many gunfights, so many different situations, that most of the time I'm not really going to be choking my shot just because I panic and wasn't ready for the fight, because I've been in so many gunfights that I've pretty much seen everything that someone's done. Of course, you have the people that, you know, have keyboard and mouse and they do some crazy flick, some crazy edit, some crazy trap play. And then of course, sometimes I might panic because of that, but more than likely, any build or any type of play, I've pretty much seen it 10 times over, so there's not really anything that's going to catch me off guard or something that's going to make me panic that I've never seen before. So if you go into enough gunfights, you're not going to be panicking as much because you're going to be so used to what everyone else is doing, because there's a lot of different ways you can attack players in Fortnite. But really, when it comes to different play styles and the way people play, if you play against a lot of players, more than likely you're not going to be panicking because of that. But also another reason why people panic is of course having low HP. So maybe going to a gunfight, you get hit with a heavy sniper, maybe you get hit in the head by a scar, so you lose 72 shield, and you have low HP during that fight. And a lot of people do panic in this situation, which is completely understandable because you're going into a gunfight, or you get shot in the back by a player you didn't even see, hit you for 150 with the heavy sniper, and then you have to win like a 1v1 or maybe even a 1v2 if it's duos with that amount of HP, and it can really be challenging, and you definitely have to remain calm and have to really think about your strategy that you want to do when you approach it, because when you are low on that HP, it is a significant disadvantage, and it's going to be much harder to win that gunfight. But it still is possible if you're able to line up your shots and keep calm, not really go for any panic flick shots, because pretty much at that point, every shot that you shoot matters. And if you want to be able to win that gunfight, you're going to have to hit the majority, if not all of your shots. And really the only best tip I can give you guys when it comes to not panicking or staying calm during your fights is really just have to have a lot of practice, or just have a go-to thing that you do when something like that happens. So for instance, like if I get sniped out of the middle of nowhere, usually my go-to is I immediately boxing, because a lot of times if you get sniped from a direction you have no idea, most of the time you don't even know exactly where that player is, and that's really, really important. So usually the first thing I do is box in, and whatever direction I think that person is going to be, I place a stare, and I try to get off a mini or two. And the reason I place that stare is because as soon as you get hit for 150 damage, or even if you get hit for a lot of damage by another player, you're going to get sprayed at left and right. Especially if you're in a game of duos, you're just going to get hammered with shots over and over again. So you want to be able to place that stare and give yourself a little bit of leeway, because with the turbo build update, they can pretty much just shoot through your wall. So if you just have a wall there, it's a pretty good chance that they can get an extra tag in there. And at that point, you're pretty much, it's gonna be very difficult to come back and win in that fight. So your best option is to do something like that: box in, place a stare, get off a mini, and then maybe try to go for a height right away, or try to go for an edit play, different things like that, because that's gonna give you your best chance. It's not gonna be the most ideal situation, because you always want to challenge the player with the most amount of mats, most amount of HP. But if something like that does ever happen, you want to give yourself the best possible chance of winning, and it's not going to be as good as the other player, because the other player is obviously going to have the advantage, but you want to give the best possible chance that you can get. And doing something like that and having a go-to can really make a difference, because if you panic and you don't know what to do in that type of situation, then you're really going to get screwed over, because you're going to have no idea what to do. The other player is going to go for a play on you, and then it's just not going to be very good, and most of the time you're going to end up losing that gunfight just because of it. So just having a go-to and being really familiar with all types of situations and places, like if you have no mats, no HP, kind of have a go-to and just know what to do in those type of situations. That's going to allow you to stay a lot calmer, because you're going to at least have a go-to. Even if you end up losing that fight, it's not going to be because you panicked and missed a shot. It's really because you just had a disadvantage in that fight, and you pretty much did everything you could, but you weren't able to win, which does sometimes happen. You're not able to win every single fight, but there is some ways you can come back and end up winning in that fight. So that's a really good way to improve your aim. And so another thing that you should keep in mind that also is a really good thing to know about is really having the idea and knowing exactly when to ADS and exactly when to hip fire. And I think this is really important when it comes to shotguns and SMGs. ARs really not so much, because ARs are usually mostly long range, but in the close range fights, knowing exactly when to ADS or to hip fire can be a crucial thing to do, and just going to give you an overall advantage. So when it comes to hip firing, those are the shots where you want to be as quick as possible. So maybe if you're in a build fight, you're building up going for like flick shots, and those times you definitely want to hip fire, because if you ever try to ADS, it's going to slow you down, and it's going to allow the other player to get high ground. There's going to be a slim chance of you hitting the shot. So maybe if you are able to line it up, get lucky enough, then the other player is probably going to have high ground in that situation. So it's probably not the best idea to do. And also with SMGs, I personally prefer to hip fire almost all the time, because it's just so easy to do, and I hit a lot of my shots doing it. But when it comes to the SMG and hip firing, that is something you want to do when you're point blank to the other player, or the players within, I would say, like 5 or 10 feet. Any more than that, I would recommend, ADS spamming or anything like that, to give yourself a better advantage and to hit more shots, because I think that's really important. And as you guys saw for this shot, I ended up ADSing and I got a clean headshot. If I would have hit fired, I probably would have hit the guy for like 100, maybe 130 at most. It would have been very difficult to hit a headshot, and that's a situation where the guy was a little bit in front of me, but it was around a corner. So even though if I happened to miss that shot, it would have been fine. I could have just ducked around a corner and went for high ground. So some situations like that, it would be much better to ADS, because I'm going to have a lot easier time lining up the shot, going for the headshot, and hitting for way more damage than if I were to hip fire. So knowing exactly when to hip fire and exactly when to ADS can improve your accuracy a ton and allow you to win a lot more gunfights that you normally wouldn't. So it really just depends on the range of the other player, and that could be a deciding factor on the gunfights that you win. And with that being said, that's a wrap up for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys liked it, make sure you guys do drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on my post notifications so you guys are notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.